That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's our famous Friday, and we're going to admit our famous Friday guest into this meeting. And our famous Friday guest is here. There she is. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Marcy Marxer. Oh my goodness. It's Grammy Award winning recording artist, Marcy Marxer.
Hey, how
Marcy,
are
let me
you?
pin you up so we can get a full view of you here.
You look pretty good. I don't know if you want me to look at me here, but
Oh, yeah. Oh, I've got a professional graphics department and everything here at Pop Up Uke.
I guess. That's
Well, it's
great.
great to see you, and thanks for joining us today. And uh, tell us what you've been up to lately. Are you doing any online lessons like most of us are trying to do?
Yeah, actually, I've been teaching online for quite a long time with truefire.com, teaching ukulele, jazz chords, and I have a private classroom there where people can send me a video or a question or ask for a lesson or tell me what they've done, and then I give them the next lesson. And then once a month, we have a live, through Facebook and YouTube, we have a live cocktail party that's open to all instruments. So we just play and sing, and I leave spaces for people to take instrumental breaks. And that's fun. But yeah, I've been teaching through media, various types of media since about the late 1980s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with homespun tapes, swing guitar, and ukulele, basic ukulele from then. Um, Harmony singing, other kinds of things. And also, I teach ukulele on Peghead Nation, and I've been doing that for about 5 years.
Well,
So,
I'll tell you, the uh, format, like on homespun tapes, now that they have that direct download feature, it's really accessible. You don't have to wait for your VHS tape like I used to do 20 years ago, and then rewind your VHS tape. And I'll tell you one of the great ones that I've purchased in the past from homespun tapes was you and Kathy Fink's harmony singing. It was just it's a wonderful lesson, and the way you introduce harmony is so basic and so accessible that it's really a great lesson.
well, thank you. Thank you so much. And the work that you've done over the years, of course, I watch as many people's classes as possible, and it's not because I want to take their material or anything like that. I just love people who can put together a great curriculum and teach a great class and bring people in. And between your knowledge and skill and your joy of music and your joy of getting everybody playing, you're the man, you know?
Welcome to the Pop-Up Uke Mutual Admiration Society meeting today. Well, thank you so much. And I will say something uh, for the rest of us here in the meeting today about that, because it's very important with the glut of instruction that there is online now that you could just type in ukulele and anybody like my wife is a professional graphic designer, and when Adobe came out with InDesign, it's like you could buy the product and you're a graphic designer. No, no, it doesn't work like that. But I remember about 2004, I went to the Santa Cruz Ukulele Festival, that big one they had. It was like the first big gathering where 700 people showed up, and Lyle Ritz was there, Bill Tapia, and this young kid named James Hill that I'd never met, and he was like 18, something like that, and I was teaching a basic theory class, and him and his dad came to my class, and then that night I saw him play, and I was like, later I went up to him and I said, "What the hell were you doing in my class?" And he said, "I wanted to see how you taught." So and look what he's turned into as far as a teacher. You know,
Oh,
he's like one of the best in the world as far as and any instrument, because exactly what you said, the love of the instrument and the love of the material and the love of music, it really comes through. And so thank you very much for that compliment. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate everything you've done bringing music and instruction to the world. And can we pull your leg to play us a tune today?
sure, if everybody will sing along.
All right, everybody, you're muted, but we can see your lips move.
This is a song I've loved for years. I've played guitar since I was 5. And my family played music. My mom had a little jazz trio that worked around Detroit. My grandmother played hammer dulcimer and piano. But my grandmother taught me most of the songs that I knew in early life. So once I got to playing age and going out and doing gigs, I really I couldn't play covers. So I had to go play in senior centers because they were the only people who requested songs I knew. But I found a little ukulele sticking out of a garbage can, and it lasted for a couple years before it fell apart. But this was the first song I learned on it, and it's called, let's see, Bye Bye Blackbird. And we'll do, since we love the birds in spring, we'll do Red Red Robin too, okay? Packed up all my cares and woes. Here I go, singing low. Bye, bye, blackbird. I see some lips moving. Where somebody waits for me. Sugar sweet, so is he. Bye, bye, blackbird. No one here can love or understand me. Oh, what hard luck stories they all hand me. Make the bed and light the light. I'll arrive late tonight. Blackbird, bye bye. When the red, red robin goes bob, bob, bobbing along, there'll be no more sobbing when he starts throbbing his old sweet song. Wake up, you sleepyhead, get up, get up, get out of bed, cheer up, the sun is red, live, love, laugh and be happy. What if I'd been blue? Still I'm walking through fields of flowers. Rain may glisten, but still I will listen for hours and hours. I'm just a kid again, doing what I did again, singing a song. When the red, red robin goes bob, bob, bobbing along. Inline tag. When the red, red robin goes bob, bob, bobbing along.
Virtual clapping, Marcy Marxer, everybody. Hey, Marcy, I was looking at the chat section here. Would you mind just filling in a little bit about your background for us? So, just a question about your background. And I have one question too about when you transitioned from being a learning student to actually playing out and then becoming a recording artist. Uh, it sounds like you were on the assisted living circuit for, right off the bat.
Yeah, oh yeah. The bedpan circuit we used to call it.
The bedpan circuit. I've never heard that. That's perfect.
Well, my family played gigs out, so I started doing my first gigs with my grandmother when I was about 10, playing the guitar. And it was kind of normal in our family. It wasn't anything people got tense about. They just, put on clean clothes. And I had a little cotton bonnet and a cotton skirt that matched my grandma's. And we would just go out and play at a street festival or somewhere. So I was pretty used to playing in front of people. And then at one point I realized that, every job I had, I tried to make music with. As a teenager, my dad wanted to steer me towards skilled trades because General Motors was in Michigan. I grew up in Michigan, and he wanted me to do something in life besides work on the assembly line. So I did work on the assembly line for a while. And when I got into skilled trades, I started making hammer dulcimers, which was a big disappointment to my parents. But, I played music all along, but I didn't know it was possible to make a living playing music until about 1980. I had a string band that was playing festivals, the big folk festivals, and you'd see each other every weekend in a different city, and that's how I met Kathy. But before that, um, in about 1980 also, I met Roy Smeck,
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, so I was in the habit of searching out old masters of music and just trying to learn from them without thinking that there'd ever be a ukulele resurgence again, you know. But Roy was hilarious, and I took lessons from him from 1980 to about 1984. And I think he passed away in 86 or 87, but I took lessons from him as long as I can. I never lived near him in New York. I always took a bus or, you know, drove from Michigan to New York or took a
Wow.
bus from DC to New York. And he never slowed anything down or told me the names of chords or anything. He just played, you know, he's like, okay, go like this. It's like that kind of stuff. And I had a little plastic tape recorder that I just like turn on the tape recorder and stare at him and try to burn the images of what he was doing into my mind. And learned a bunch of tunes with him by rote. But it wasn't until I was off the road for a while. It's pretty public. Anybody who follows me at all knows that I'm a cancer patient. But one of the positive things of having downtime as a cancer patient was I had a lot of time to think. And so I dissected why those positions worked and how to put together a method of stringing the positions together that would lead people to being able to play any chord melody they want instead of just the tunes they memorize. So I have that program on TrueFire, and I also teach privately.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I hear a lot from people of finding the melody on, and it's okay, we're just going to work out this complicated chord melody to one tune and we'll memorize it. And here's our sheet music. And, uh, but yeah, that sounds really great, that program. I'm going to check that out. A funny thing, I was talking to Joel Eckhouse from Ernest Instruments yeah, years ago, and he told me he studied also, did the same thing, went to New York to study with Roy Schmeck. And up on my website, playukulelebyear.com, in my 3 questions interview section, there's a couple of interviews with Joel about his teaching with Roy Schmeck. But it was just about the same thing. He'd play it, I'd try and learn it.
You
That's
know,
amazing.
Joel is the only other person I know who learned from Roy. I mean, there was just literally no interest then. But Joel is the reason why I found out Roy was still alive.
Oh,
I
really?
Yeah, he doesn't remember this, and I can see why he wouldn't, but he had just had a lesson with Roy, and he was in Matt Umanoff's guitar store with this big notebook full of tunes, and he was scribbling really fast in ukulele diagrams and stuff. And I went up and I said, "What's that?" And he's like, "Don't bother me. I'm trying to remember this." I said, "Oh, really?" He said, "Yeah, I just had a lesson with Roy Smack, and I'm trying to remember what he did." And he wrote it down. So So I called. I had to go back. My band had to go back to DC, and I called information to try to get Roy Smeck's number because you know we didn't have the internet and all that, and they couldn't give it to me until I knew where he lived, and I didn't know Joel's name. I just knew he was a guy I bugged in a music store. So I actually took a paper lunch, 2 paper lunch sacks with a bunch of change in my uke and a tape recorder to New York on a bus, and I stood at one of the outdoor phone booths, and put change in. I looked through the phone book, and there were like pages and pages of R. Smecks, like the New York City phone book was that big. I was so disappointed, but I actually got his wife on the phone after about, you know, my change bag was getting light, and I said, "Is this the home of Roy Smeck, the famous ukulele player?" And the sweet voice said, "Why, yes, it is." I said, then I didn't know what to say. He's like, uh, can I come over? My name's Marcy, and I live in Washington, D.C., and I play uke, and I'd love to meet Roy. And he was great. He was just great. We went back several times. I was afraid he wouldn't like me, so I stopped at a grocery store and I bought a roasted chicken. Just to see if my personality is not enough to get in the door, maybe poultry would work.
This is why you come to Pop Up Uke, because you don't hear stories like this anywhere else. That Marcy Marxer took Roy Schmeck a roasted chicken. That one got a thumbs up from Duff in Tempe, Arizona. Yeah, two thumbs up from Helen. I this has never happened before, Marcy. We've only been doing Pop Up Uke for a month or so, but we've never had an encore. I have to ask you to play something like 12th Street Rag or something like from the Roy
Sure.
Schmeck sort of chord melody thing. I know everybody would love it.
I would love it. In fact, funny you mentioned 12th Street Rag because that's the very first tune he showed me, and that was when I realized I didn't really know how to play yet. I sat down with my recorder thinking, yeah, I've been doing this for a long time, and I looked at him and went, what? And it's a pretty easy song. So here's 12th Street Rag. But it'd be better if it was faster. But it'd be better if it was fancier.
That was absolutely fabulous.
I put a
So,
lesson years ago up on YouTube of that. So if you look up Marcy Marxer 12th Street Rag lesson, it'll pop up on YouTube.
I'll put that up on our pop-up uke page so people can see it. Uh, but what a fabulous day! I mean, I'm looking at the chats and it's just like, oh, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Did you know, Marcy, where the home of sliced bread is?
No.
It's in Central Missouri. The
What?
first, yeah, Central Missouri. The first commercial sliced bread operation opened about 1928 at a factory in Central Missouri. So that's the kind of stuff I like to know.
That deserves a song.
Hey, maybe the next time you're on Pop Up Uke, you can play the sliced bread song. Well, everybody, let's thank Marcy Marxer for showing up at Pop Up Uke today. It was absolutely
Thanks for all the
fabulous.
great work you do, Jim, and keep on playing, all you ukulele players. I'm surprised to see how many of you I know, and that's absolutely wonderful. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
take care. Aloha.
All right. Marcy Marxer, everybody, on Pop Up Uke.
Thank you,
See you
Jim.
later.
Bye bye.